Hello, fellow investigators. Welcome to the Night Pages investigation. My name is Thor, and today we'll be checking out a couple of videos from Nuke's Top 5. I'm going to be using my 20 years of paranormal research and investigation into the phenomena known as the paranormal, and we're going to be deciding whether or not what we're seeing is real, fake, or what the hell is going on in the first place.
Paranormal enthusiast James White has a very spooky business. He professionally arranges and hosts seances in allegedly haunted and abandoned buildings in Toronto, Canada. James is hosting a seance at the historic Lambton House with a group of curious participants. The Lambton House is a former inn that was built in 1860.
Do I believe in
and it is
seances? I don't
said
know.
to be extremely haunted.
I've never been to one.
Now James White and his group are about to witness something
But nothing happened
absolutely
during
terrifying.
Maybe we'll get lucky and see something interesting.
It's the Domino's one. Okay. So Norman, someone in this room is trying to harm you? Is it a person? If so, give me a sign.
Got homeboy checking behind
Are
him.
they in this room? Is it a male?
They hold him back. His chair tipped backward.
Why did you shirt it back?
I did not move it.
Oh, something just pulled.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know whether or not this seance is legit or not. I don't know if I believe necessarily in seances. However, in my own house that I live in right now, I believe there is a entity that currently lives here, exists here. One time I saw my daughter, again, Pixar didn't happen, right? Rules of the internet. Pixar didn't happen. My daughter was eating cereal, and suddenly she got thrown backwards out of the chair onto the floor. My wife tried to tell me, because she's not really into this kind of stuff the same way that I am, but she tried to tell me, like, oh, she probably just flipped it. I was right there. I watched the whole thing myself. She was sitting there, and then the next moment, the chair just tipped on backwards, and she fell on the floor. This seems to be almost exactly the same thing that happened. Unfortunately, there's a grainy nature to this video, and I can't tell for sure whether or not what happened was legit. It seems like there's a lot of witnesses sitting around, but it also seems like a dark room. Compelling, sure. I mean, if you're just going to believe like wholeheartedly in what you're seeing on the screen, this could be some super compelling evidence. But it's not what I would call the best video I've ever seen in my life.
Keep your hands together. Keep your hands together.
We grabbed him as soon as he fell back.
Do not break. Okay, really?
It did break when he fell though, because he got that far back.
Okay, so did somebody actually pull your chair?
Yeah, like he tipped backwards. Yeah.
Somebody pulled your chair?
Yes.
While in the middle of a seance, one participant is forcefully yanked backwards out of his chair by an unseen force.
Is it a male?
The door behind me was open, and
Poor guy.
I had my partner sitting beside me, and we had the door, like the door was open behind us, and we thought we heard something back there, but nothing was there. So we turned, and I looked, and I saw nothing. So I turned my head back towards the group, like the circle, and we're all holding hands, and then all of a sudden I just felt like this force just come and pull me back.
It
And
looked
was,
pretty
like,
violent. I'll give you
aggressive.
that.
Like
give you that.
aggressive. It wasn't like
I'll go ahead and
calm,
err on
it
the
was
side.
aggressive, like
This was
it trying
a
to kill me
paranormal
or something.
event
I don't
and
even know.
likely some
My
sort of
feet
strong
were, like, flat on the ground.
poltergeist
I wasn't
activity.
moving. I was holding hands with the people beside me, and it just pulled me. And it like felt like someone was coming up behind me, like standing up behind me as I'm sitting in the chair, and like taking my shoulders and like pulling me towards the mirror. It was crazy.
Fellow participants and eyewitnesses from the seance took to Instagram to share their stories about the incident. One seance witness had this to say about the strange event. I sat across from him when this happened, and it was fantastic to see.
It's fantastic.
Witness
I
says,
love seeing people
I was
here.
there. Another epic seance with @James White Seance. So did James White capture evidence of an unknown entity aggressively grabbing an innocent visitor at the Lambton House? I leave it up to you
Yeah,
to
sure.
decide.
I'll call it evidence. Why not?
Is it a male?
Some surly, malicious
Scream.
poltergeist.
YouTube
Yeah.
channel D's Dark Adventures says that an anonymous fan emailed
D's
her about
Dark
a very
Adventures.
creepy experience he had while driving home.
Let's give
late
D's
one
Dark
night.
Adventures a look.
The dash cam video shows the man driving down an isolated country road in the middle of nowhere. Suddenly, he spots something that makes his blood run cold.
I love these types of videos.
Excuse me, you need help? What the?
The driver suddenly spots a woman walking all by herself in the middle of the night. As he gets closer, he is horrified when he sees that the woman is covered in blood. Worried for her safety, he rolls down his window and asks her if she needs help.
Excuse me, you need help?
After which, she lets out a blood-curdling scream.
What the?
What the
At this
fuck?
point, the man notices that the woman appears to have no eyes.
All right,
only
there's
black
something
sockets.
absolutely
Terrified
horrifying
by her
about
reaction and
this video.
appearance, the driver quickly just gets
I'm sure most of us have heard stories about ladies in white walking on the sides of roads and things like that. I certainly have one in my neck of the woods. It's the lady in white. She happens to wander around in Niles Canyon. We've all heard the stories. I've never encountered her myself, but it's an incredibly common ghost story that isn't unique to our neck of the woods here in the Bay Area. It seems to be a phenomenon that appears all around the world. This certainly isn't somewhere that I recognize in the Bay Area, and yet here is a woman in white screaming on the side of the road. Is this a ghost for sure? No, not for sure. It could just be a woman covered in blood with some extremely dark makeup around her eyes, or maybe the camera just isn't picking up her eyeballs very well because of a shadow distortion, and the quality of the film isn't that great either. So there's definitely room for skepticism in this one, but just taking it at face value, terrifying video. And I certainly would get the hell out of there too.
out of there. He says that he called the police, but they never found this mysterious woman. So just what do you think is going on here? And what would you do in this same situation?
What the?
What the fuck? Yeah, what
The
the
woman
fuck?
in white. Nuke's Top 5 viewer and paranormal investigator Mark Reyes emailed me about a video that he captured with his family while on a ghost hunt at the Evangelical Spiritual Church in Cicero, Illinois. The church was once used as a funeral home and is said to be extremely haunted. It's the middle of the night and Rick and his family are investigating the church when suddenly their EMF meter detects something that they can't see. What happens next is truly chilling.
Are you afraid? That room over there is scary. Have you seen it? This one, come here. This one.
Oh.
This is a private office.
So you can't go in there.
I don't know if you guys saw it. He'll go back in a
It's
minute.
open because we could.
So you can't go there. So you can't go in there.
Did you see it? A woman who seems to be wearing a white gown can be seen standing.
All right. At face value, yeah, that appears to be the silhouette of a person, and it's not a shadow person. You know, those are a little more common, I would say, than a full apparition, which this appears to be. I don't see legs, so maybe just a partial apparition, but compelling. Yes. Let's see if they go back and they take a look at the image of the hallway and see if she's still there.
Behind the family on the far side of the church, Ricky says that his daughter felt a presence as she looked back,
God, that's
but
weird.
that none of them actually saw the mysterious woman at the time. It wasn't until they returned home that they discovered what they had captured. So could this eerie figure possibly be the spirit of one of the people who passed through the funeral home? Let me know what you think. We need scary videos, so if you see something that you think would be
Yeah, I
perfect
need
for the
scary
top
videos,
5,
too. Send me some
it to
videos.
us at nukestop5.
I wanna break down some original content.
The burial mounds. Paranormal investigator Ian from the YouTube channel
Hey.
Midwest Ghost Hunter is back with another investigation. This time at the mysterious Native American burial mounds at the Crow Wing River in Minnesota. Many people claim to have experienced terrifying paranormal activity at the burial mounds. Some have heard the strange sound of phantom drums and disembodied voices, and some visitors even claim that they have seen glowing apparitions at the site. Curious about the claims, Ian decides to do an overnight investigation in the hopes of capturing paranormal evidence. Things quickly take a very creepy turn as Ian searches for one of the burial mounds.
I hope he's strapped up wandering through the forest like this. I would not want to go out there with that gun.
Like, from anywhere. Bears, Bigfoot, ghosts, anything.
There's something I have some stuff
Okay. I don't know if I'm going crazy. I thought I heard something behind me. Hello? Who's over there? I don't know, maybe I'm just paranoid. I don't know. I thought I heard something, but I'm not sure.
Totally.
Oh, holy shit. Okay. All right. Okay, I don't know, man. Maybe I'm not going crazy. I don't know. I don't know if I should try this, but I'm gonna try walking backwards because I want to see what's coming up behind me. Honestly, I don't even like walking backwards because I don't know what's ahead of me. Is there somebody out here with me? Oh my God! Holy shit! That scared me so bad. That was a straight up voice from thin air. It was as if somebody was standing like right there. Hello?
Ian hears footsteps following him. Then he hears a loud, indiscernible voice.
Wow.
He's now a little
That's a deep voice to be hearing in the forest in the middle of the night. I ain't gonna lie, that would freak me out quick. I would not like that. They mentioned that these are Native American burial grounds. Native Americans have some interesting cultural beliefs about spirits and ghosts. I've heard it said that when the Native Americans pass away, some of their cultures bury them and immediately never say their names ever again because they don't want to attract the spirits back to them. And the families of those spirits are put into 5 days of like quarantine, essentially, so that the spirits don't attract back to the rest of the group. Whether or not this is true, I don't know. Whether or not this is an effective way to make sure the spirits don't attach back to you after their death, I don't know. This is just what I've heard. Clearly, this guy is being spooked by something. Something's out there. I'm hearing the voice. I'm sort of hearing the footsteps. This is not what I would call the most compelling piece of evidence, but you can see the fear on his face is real.
freaked out, but he continues his search until he finally finds one of the Native American burial mounds. What happens next is truly disturbing.
All right, here's mound number 2. I'm actually not going to say anything this time. I'm actually just going to listen.
Yeah, I hear it.
kinds of things over here.
Just like
It sounds
some
like
white guy
voices.
walking around in the woods with a flashlight
they're so
and a bunch
faint.
of cameras.
A female voice can be heard speaking almost as if someone at the burial mound is having a long, involved conversation. But it's something else that really spooks Ian as he explores the Crowing River's edge. Something truly terrifying.
Even though there's not much going on right now, it's a lot of fun just being out here. Out in the wilderness. Even though it's dark, I can barely see 10 feet ahead of me. Holy sh! Just when I said it was fun being out here, pretty sure there was a goose back there splashing in the water.
Of all things, Ian's biggest scare so far comes from the sudden sound of a honking goose.
Holy sh!
Eventually, Ian finds another burial mound. Now, Ian knows that he might not be able to communicate in English with the spirits of the Native Americans buried there. So, he decides to just listen. What happens next is truly bizarre.
Okay, I just heard talking. That sounded like a male voice. Could you speak again? Oh my god! Dude, that was a face! I just seen a face! That was a glowing face!
Yeah. Okay, that's good. That's good stuff.
Oh my god, I cannot believe
Partial
that!
apparition of
Dude, his face just appeared
some
right
neat stuff
there! Right there! Oh my god, that was one of the craziest things I've ever seen. It's one thing to see a light, a mist,
That is an
even a
interesting
shadow, but a
capture.
face? A face!
Certainly some
It looked like a
interesting
man, dude. It
evidence.
looked like a Native
I'm
American
sure
man.
to
Ian hears
some
another low
that's
voice
nothing,
speaking from somewhere
but
nearby.
If you look at this kind of evidence from the point of
Pale-faced
view of
and
someone
quickly
who
appears
doesn't
and
have to be
disappears from
convinced
right out of the
that the
darkness.
evidence existed in the first
Ian is
place.
shocked by what he has captured
God,
and
that
deems
is-
his
that's so
paranormal
good.
investigation
And the way that
a huge success.
Here, we'll go back and
So
take
did
a look. You can kind of see, you can see that the face is starting to disappear in this little image that I have captured here. And the way that it sort of vanishes sideways, that is a typical type of motion that I am used to seeing in these videos. And I do equate this to a legitimate apparition. I'm impressed. I think this is really interesting. I think this is a good capture. And I'm going to call this legitimate. I'm going to call this a legitimate apparition.
Darkness. Ian is shocked by what he has captured and deems his paranormal investigation a huge success.
So good.
So did
It's
Ian
so good.
capture the voices and face of lingering Native American
man.
spirits buried at the Crowing River? Let me know what you think. You can
That's gotta
watch
be
this
one of the
entire
best.
investigation and many more spooky adventures over on the YouTube channel, Midwest Ghost Hunter, the San Haven Sanatorium. Nuke's top 5 viewer Ricky and his sister Vicky set out to explore the old abandoned San Haven Sanatorium near Dunseith, North Dakota. The sanatorium was built in 1912 as a treatment center for patients suffering from tuberculosis. Many of these patients did not survive. They passed away inside the walls of the San Haven Sanatorium. In the 1960s, the hospital became a treatment center for the mentally impaired. However, it was eventually closed in 1987 after many reports of patient mistreatment and neglect. The San Haven Sanatorium is now known as a paranormal hotspot, and to this day, those with an interest in the supernatural travel to the hospital to explore, hoping to experience paranormal activity.
A lot of these sanatoriums have a reputation as being extremely haunted. I think there is a correlation between abandoned spaces that were once inhabited by people that are no longer inhabited by people and the paranormal. And I think the reason for that is that ghosts like their own space. They don't want the living walking around constantly changing things. It makes them angry. It makes them feel like they have no agency. This this tracks to me. It's the same reason that a lot of people have haunted basements and haunted attics. It's because it's a human space, but they don't have people up there all the time messing around with what the ghosts perceive to be their space. So, of course, I think that sanatoriums, abandoned hospitals, abandoned offices, basically any abandoned human space makes a good dwelling for a spirit.
So, Ricky and his sister are carefully exploring the creepy old decaying building. They experience something downright creepy.
No, I bet it's a morgue. Oh, come on, let me have that.
Couldn't tell you.
Oh, it's creepy as
Yeah, this building's getting pretty bad. Was that you?
Oh,
That wasn't you, was it?
No.
I see that little pipe up there moving.
Sounds like someone's upstairs. There's someone upstairs. There's someone upstairs.
I hope so.
Hello? Hello? Where are you at?
Now, it should be noted that this odd event can be explained away as simply water rattling around in the building's old rusty pipes. In fact, if you look closely, this isn't even a water pipe at all. It's actually a piece of old metal electrical conduit that has been cut in half. Nevertheless, it moves and rattles as if shaken by some unknown force. Ricky and his sister are a bit freaked out and worried that they might not be alone in the sanatorium. However,
Yeah, I would call that some pretty quintessential poltergeist activity. A poltergeist, translated from German, means noisy spirit, but in a technical sense, when we're talking about activity, we are talking not just about noises and knocks, but we're talking about objects being moved. And there's an object, and it's being moved in a disembodied way. I don't see anyone around it to move it. Maybe the one of the two of them is moving the pipe for clicks and views, but if that is not the case, then we have to assume that this is some unexplainable phenomena, and that's the name of the game.
even if there was someone else upstairs, it would be impossible for that person to even reach this metal conduit to make it move. So this creepy capture remains a mystery.
Is that you? Holy
The thing down the hall. A group of friends from Madrid, Spain are hanging out when they suddenly hear strange sounds coming from the bathroom down the hall.
¿Están escuchando? Soy yo. Se están escuchando mazo de ruidos, tú. Eso viene del baño.
No vayas, estás loco,
Hermano.
¿Qué es lo que quiere que vayas? Vale, venga, poco.
Una polla, Una polla.
No.
Ocho, para. Hermano, ¿qué haces? ¿Estás loco? Se está escuchando desde el baño.
Escúchame, pon internet ahí, hermano.
¿Hola?
Una polla. Hermano, esto es mucho mal rollo,
¿Hay alguien ahí? No. Hermano.
Tira, vamos a ver lo que es.
Hermano, no.
Espera, tengo más. Tira. Asoma la cámara. Espérate lo que hay, espérate. Ahí no hay nada. ¡Hostia puta!
¡Corre, hermano! ¡Corre! What the f***?
The guys are hesitant to look.
I am extremely suspicious of this video because of how incredibly terrifying that little face is. I've never seen an apparition look that solid. I've never seen one look that scary. You know what? That's actually not true. I have seen some videos where the apparition was just that terrifying. But those videos are also deeply questionable because of how convenient and completely terrifying they are. It's so solid. Part of me thinks that what has happened is that somebody printed out something spooky and then taped it to the other side of that shower curtain. That's what I think. If we're assuming that this is real, though, this is an unlivably haunted place. You you would need to send in an exorcist. No one could live in this place. This place would be unbearably cursed. I wouldn't want my worst enemy to live in this place. But I have some extremely deep suspicions about this particular video. I don't think it's real, but maybe it is. Maybe it's possible. But on the whole, I don't think so.
Look inside the bathroom, but when they do, something horrifying can be seen staring back at them. User Ain Holval shares the video to TikTok with the caption, "What the hell was in my bathroom?" Now, it's certainly very creepy, but is it real? Or is it all just an elaborate TikTok hoax? You decide.
Did it open its eyes a little bit more? Was it moving? See, if it moves a little bit, okay, that gives it a little more credibility.
Intrigue.
Jesus Christ.
New homeowner and Reddit user Genuine Intrigue has been finding evidence that some kind of animal has been walking around his backyard late at night. Curious to see what kind of animal it might be, he decides to look through the footage recorded by his motion detecting security camera. But what he finds sends a chill down his spine.
Is a partial apparition.
During a soft rain, a translucent figure seems to slowly walk through the backyard. Reddit user Genuine Intrigue has no explanation for this bizarre capture.
At all.
But what do you think this is?
It doesn't look like it's a bug on the lens or anything like that. It looks
Popular
like
urban explorer Chris Hill from the YouTube channel Urbex Hill sets out to explore Holden Avenue, an entirely abandoned street in Cleveland, Ohio. Now, it's unknown why the street was left abandoned, other than it sits in an incredibly dangerous neighborhood. Multiple bodies have been found on this street, and each of the deceased met their end under mysterious and horrifying circumstances. So, dragging around his balls of steel, Chris Hill makes it his mission to record and document the abandoned buildings on Holden Avenue.
If you have not checked out Urbex
they are
Hill,
demolished.
give him a look. He has some
In the middle of the night, Chris begins his exploration at the abandoned First Hungarian Baptist Church.
Super
he
interesting.
Soon realizes that he might
Always
have
creepy.
made
It doesn't even
a
need to
huge
have
mistake.
any haunted content inside of the videos. It's just pure nightmare fuel with or without the presence of the paranormal.
I could have swore I heard something. I think that's an animal.
What would you rather encounter in an abandoned house? A ghost or a wild animal? Both certainly have their pros and cons.
That's weird.
Oh my.
Upstairs.
As As Chris is exploring the basement, he hears strange noises, but can't identify the source. Then a door above him on the ground floor just slams shut. Chris quickly makes his way upstairs to investigate, and what happens next is downright creepy.
Get the strap, Chris.
Somebody outside.
Alright.
Chris finds nothing and no one to explain why the door slammed shut. But when reviewing his footage at home, he realizes that he captured more than he thought. A 4K static camera that he placed inside the church's chapel reveals that something seems to move towards the door just before it slams shut. Another static camera shows something pale and translucent moving around the pews while Chris is in the room.
Some poltergeist activity.
But
a lot going on in this
that's not
video,
all that
and
Chris
I think
captured
it's good.
that night.
I think this
because
is
after a
excellent
thorough walkthrough of the church, Chris decides to check out one of the abandoned
Again,
houses on Holton Avenue.
Never ceases to amaze
did
me
not
with the content
go well.
he's producing.
This is sketchy. This cannot be safe.
To me, Urbex Hill is something of like a YouTube hero. This guy does something that, while a lot of other people are doing it, nobody seems to do it as good as him.
It actually looks like it's just underneath the house. It's not really a basement. Still creepy. Sorry. I didn't know nobody lived there.
While checking out the house's basement, Chris hears movement on the floor above him. Freaked out by the
that's one
sound,
of
he
the
quickly
things
starts
I've seen
making
him
his
encounter
way
many
out
times,
of
and
there.
it
But there's
definitely
someone inside
causes some
with
brown
him,
pants
peeking
phenomena
out from behind
every
a
time it
curtain.
happens.
The man seems to be
Encountering
living in the abandoned
homeless
home.
people.
Chris knows the horrifying
or
stories of the people who
squatters
met a
inside
tragic
of
end
these
on Holton
abandoned
Avenue.
buildings. Like,
So he quickly
shirtless
just
man.
gets out of the house.
There's a shirtless dude
And with that, Chris has
hanging
had
out inside of
about
that
enough.
building. That is
He decides to just head
infinitely
home.
more terrifying than
Now, for
almost
obvious
any
reasons,
ghost you
I
could
advise
encounter.
everyone watching this to just stay away from Holton Avenue.
Oh,
but if you want
and
to
he's
see
holding
more
something
Chris's
big in his hand.
explorations, you can find them all on his
No,
YouTube
no,
channel,
no.
Urbex Hill. Freefall. TikTok user Jalen Rich is hanging out with a friend on the boardwalk in Santa Cruz, California, a little after closing time. Something happens that freaks them both out.
Okay, but the boardwalk closed like half an hour ago.
Oh god, I thought her face was
Where
gross.
Okay, I'm really bad at this. No one's on there. Is there?
Oh, it's head disappeared.
Okay, I totally
Oh.
Someone appears to be seated on the Santa Cruz Boardwalk freefall ride, even though the ride is supposed to be closed. But then, whoever or whatever it is seems to disappear.
Wow!
Into thin
Oh
air.
my god, that's
Jalen explains that
so
both she and her friend
good.
saw someone sitting on the ride and have no idea how to explain
That is
what
so
happened.
interesting.
Now, the Santa Cruz
I can count on my hands the
opened
amount
in
of
19
times I've seen something so clear. That was such a clear apparition inside of that seat, and then as it comes down, it disappears. Could it be faked? I suppose so. I am not a computer generated image expert. I suppose anything could be done, but if we're taking it at face value, again, that is some of the best evidence I've ever seen. That was really, really good. Really good. I would love to see more just like that.
1907 and has seen at least 3 confirmed fatal accidents over the last 116 years. One rumor even states that a park visitor tragically broke their neck on this very ride. So could it be that Jalen captured the spirit of someone who never made it out of the park? You decide. Followed
Dentro del baño. Cojones. ¿Qué va a ser?
No mames.
¿Qué coño?
Francisco believes that he might be dealing with multiple entities as he begins to hear taunting voices, laughing, and even the sound of intense
a
crying
poltergeist at the
in the
very
night.
least.
Soy un niño. ¿Qué cojones? No hay nadie.
The chilling sound of a baby crying sends Francisco off to search his entire apartment, but he finds nothing to explain the sound.
Disembodied voice of a child.
Another night, and things escalate to another level when Francisco's Amazon Alexa begins to behave very strangely and absolutely terrifying.
Alexa me da un susto de muerte.
Escucha. Phil, se acaba de conectar. ¡Qué susto!
Francisco says that his Alexa is disconnected, yet it calls out in Spanish, "Go to the window.
That's fucked up.
I want to see you."
Phil, se acaba de conectar. ¡Qué susto!
Okay. So, theoretically, ghosts are made up of an electromagnetic form. And I've seen in the past where they have the ability to manipulate small electronics. This is unprecedented, though. I've never seen or heard anything at this level before. And part of me wonders if this is doctored for views and clicks. But if we're to take it at face value, this is definitely a horrifying piece of evidence. Because this means that the ghost has taken hold of the Alexa and is generating a frightening message through the Alexa itself. They can do this by bypassing a lot of the electronics, using their electromagnetic form to commandeer the device itself. So that's oh man, that's fucked up. I would immediately call for the exorcist if I was him. I would call for the medium, the exorcist. I would call for a group of ghost hunters to come in and do some sort of banishing. I would pull out all the stops to get rid of this particular haunting. My God.
And that's not the only time that this happens.
Coño.
female voice coming from the Alexa laughs out loud but then stops as soon as Francisco comes around the corner. Then an entirely different, lower and creepier voice calls out, "Hola." Francisco has had enough, but he has no idea how to stop the terrifying activity. He tries to continue living his life as if nothing has happened. But then one night when he's hanging out just watching TV, this happens.
Escuche, acabo de empezar a escuchar a tocar desde esa puerta.
Don't answer it.
¿Están tocando desde ahí? ¿O es cosa mía? Míralo, míralo. ¿Hola? No puede ser.
My lord, don't
¿Qué coño
answer.
es eso?
Oh, there's a face.
¿Qué coño es eso, tío?
Face in the bottom panel? Okay, it's gone now. Oh my god. Don't answer the door, dude. Oh, Jesus Christ. I mean, it's clearly already inside your apartment, but they say one of the worst ideas is to answer the disembodied knock, because then it gives the ghost the impression that you're allowing it into your residence. So it seems to me like it's already in there.
Francisco is startled by knocking coming from his hallway door. When he stands up to check it out, he spots what appears to be a small child looking in through the window. Shocked by what he's seeing, he quickly opens the door only to find no one there. Whoever or whatever this is has disappeared. So did something follow Francisco home from the abandoned farm that he explored? Could it even be multiple spirits?
Dear God.
And if you were in his shoes,
this is why I
just
don't
what would you do?
I'm perfectly happy just to watch other people ghost hunt and then break down what it is.
Thanks for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe and turn on notifications so that you
make connections by comparing different pieces of evidence and sort of building a system around those pieces of evidence. It feels like it saves me a lot of time, effort, and pain having to actually encounter spirits, because my God, while watching this is endlessly fascinating, experiencing it on a daily basis in the solidarity of my own home, that would just be, that would be too much. I would hate for that to happen to me. And I already have a questionably haunted house myself. There's the low-level poltergeist activity taking place in this place since we moved in. It's nothing like it was back at my old house. My old house, quiet, felt like nothing ever happened. Here, there are bangs and knocks and things moving and stuff at night, and I can't explain any of it. Not strong enough for me to like set up cameras. It doesn't happen often enough for me to want to like document it, but it seems to be happening. So, yeah. And that's all we have time for today, guys. Make sure you guys give Nuke's Top 5 a look. Check out all the videos and the creators that we saw in the videos today. Don't answer the disembodied knock at your door. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, stay scared.